I didn't change those settings. What would this show be without technical difficulties? There we go. And I'm blurry. Why am I blurry? Turn the video off. Turn the video back on. Boom. There we go. Let's fix this camera so we're in the green screen. Welcome to AOX Wrestling on Game Complainers channel. So the archive will go up on the old channel. We're going to go live on this channel because we have more subscribers here. So we want to give a little more diversity here and see how it works out for tonight. Anyways, I'm your host, Perry.
You co-host, Eli.
We're here to recap the 20th anniversary of the WWF King of the Ring 2001. The pay-per-view, which aired on June 24th, 2001. Where was this one? This was in New Jersey or something? Or
it was in the Prudential Center.
Prudential Center, was it?
No. What was it? The Meadowlands?
It was not the
Stadium?
It might have...
Some shit. Fucking... We don't even remember what this thing is.
Alright, hang on.
Airline? One of those
Continental Airlines Arena. There you go.
There you go.
East Rutherford, New Jersey. So there we go. Alright, so that's where it was at. So we just got done watching this about 5 minutes ago. And it was a hell of a show.
Indeed.
So you had Diamond Dallas Page open the King of the Ring. For those that don't know, Diamond Dallas Page was part of the WCW buyout. He relinquished to stay on the Turner contract, and he joined the WWF, took a huge pay cut, because he wanted to be part of the invasion angle. So they debuted DDP on Raw, was it the previous Monday, or a couple Mondays beforehand? And he was stalking The Undertaker's wife, his former wife, Sarah, who he had the tattoo on his neck, and he's had that removed since because he's with someone else now, obviously. But at the time, the story was he was filming her, like, I don't know, getting ready for work and stuff like that, or like he's just like in the bushes filming her in the house through the window. She's cooking like dinner, and he's filming her with the camera. Like nobody knew who this was, and then DDP debuted on Raw with the Undertaker's music, riding a motorcycle. Apparently that was Test's motorcycle.
Yeah.
So you know. So he debuts, and he claims to be the guy that was stalking the Undertaker's wife. Why he was stalking the Undertaker's wife, nobody knows, because DDP's wife was fucking hot at the time. He's not with her anymore, but... Anyway. He opens up the show. He said that what he showed on TV was only PG, and that he's got a personal collection of his own of the Undertaker's wife.
Oh
and that's how they open the fucking show. Okay, so then, first match is Kurt Angle versus Encryption. Kurt Angle versus Encryption. Kurt Angle versus Christian in a King of the Ring finals qualifier. Basically, it's a typical match. Christian gets the, it was called the Unprettier at the time. It is now called the Kill Switch. He hits the Kill Switch on Kurt Angle, and he's about to get the 3 pound... What's wrong with me tonight? The 3 count. The 3 count, and Shane McMahon runs down, pulls Christian out of the ring. Christian's like, what the hell? He gets back in the ring, Angle slam, it's over. Kurt Angle wins the match. He's going to the finals of the King of the Ring.
So did they do, like, whole tournament over the course of, like, the month, pretty much?
Yeah, but they were starting to put the finals on pay-per-view just to fill out the pay-per-view, which I thought was fucking dumb.
Yeah, because usually the whole pay-per-view is the tournament. Like, it's everybody's fighting.
Right, I know that. But in 99, I think it was 1999, they started to not do that.
Yeah.
Or it was 2000 or something. Or this might be the first. One of them. I think it was the one with Jeff Jarrett. So I think that was 1999. They started doing the tournament on Raw and Sunday Night Heat. And then it became just Raw. And then now that Raw is 3 hours currently. Whenever they decide they want to do a King of the Ring, it's the whole fucking 3-hour show, Monday Night Raw. But they started doing the finals on the pay-per-view just to fill out the card. So after this match, we had Stone Cold Stone Cold was being told. Do you remember who told him this? Was it Coach?
Yeah,
I think it was Coach told hockey fan. What's up? By the way, we're live in the live chat. If you're watching this on AOX Wrestling's radio channel, YouTube channel, this is archived. But we are live right now, and we have a live chat room. So hockey fan who's been with us since day one, almost 20 years now this guy's been with us here. He said, what's going on? What's going on, brother? We're just recapping King of the Ring 2001.
King of the fucking Ring.
So Coach tells Stone Cold backstage with Deborah that there's a rumor that Jericho or Benoit, depending on who's going to win the title tonight, will defect to WCW if they win the championship. Austin just looks at him and doesn't say a word, but he looks at him like, are you kidding me? Then DDP's in the crowd. This show is DDP heavy. And he's talking with Paul Heyman. And he's saying that, this and that about The Undertaker, talking about his wife and all this shit. Then you cut to a video. Somebody is filming DDP eating breakfast. And DDP is like, who is that? Who's doing that? Who's playing that tape? He's all paranoid. And so it shows him eating breakfast at some fucking diner or something, and then that's it. He starts flipping out, and then they cut over to Edge versus Rhino. One more King of the Ring qualifier match. Edge and Rhino had a great match. However, towards the end of the match, they speared each other at the same time. This was the thing that hurt Edge. But Edge was able to pull the win out, and that was that. Then we cut backstage, and Spike Dudley is telling, was it Coach? Or no, he was telling Lillian Garcia, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was Lillian.
Now, he's got a tag team partner tonight, because he's facing the Dudley Boys for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Bubba Ray and Devon confront him and tell him he's a disappointment, blah, blah, blah. Good storyline. Then Taz interviews Chris Jericho about going to WCW, and Chris Jericho says, no, I have no plans. However, I'm not going to tell you anything else. So the Dudley Boys come to the ring, and they're waiting for Spike Dudley and his mystery tag team partner. All of a sudden, explosion happens. It's Kane. So Kane and Spike Dudley versus the Dudley Boys. During this match, JR asks Paul Heyman if he likes women. I don't know why. JR was talking about Molly Holly, because the storyline is that Spike Dudley fell in love with Molly Holly, and Bubba Ray and Devon are pissed off that he doesn't have his head in the game, and he's worried about dating this girl. So they're pissed off that he's dating this girl. But JR made a slip because they were talking about Molly Holly and Spike Dudley, and JR goes, I don't understand, Paul, why you're blaming Sarah. He's talking about The Undertaker's wife during the match with the Dudleys, and Heyman just quickly says, I'm not blaming Sarah or anything. And then JR realizes, oops, I fucked up. So then Heyman covers for him big time by just starting to talk about The Undertaker and DDP during the fucking Dudley Boys match. Yeah. And he covered for him, and it took about 5 minutes for them to get off of that subject. But you see how good Heyman was? Like, JR fucked up big time, and Heyman just fucking rolled with it, like, to help him out. But that caught Heyman off surprise, because Heyman was like, I'm not blaming Sarah. Damn, I miss heel Jerry Lawler. Hey, you know what? I was watching all three Feds at the time, so Paul Heyman doing announcing while the King had some time off, why not? I was all for it. Kane pins Bubba Ray at one point, and Teddy Long stops the count because Devon was too late to get to break up the pin.
Yeah, he's like,
Teddy Long there goes 1, 2, and then he just stops. The crowd sees this and fucking boos. Literally, he goes 1, 2, and he stops, and then fucking Devon fucking slams into the thing. And the crowd is booing the shit out of Teddy Long because he just stopped the count dead.
Yeah, he almost won.
Oh, man. And then, that was it. The Dudley Boys, they pinned Spike Dudley. And then Kane came back in the ring and he fucking chokeslammed Devon. And then he chokeslammed Bubba Ray through a table. Fucked him up. Backstage, Christian and Edge talk. Do you remember what they talked about? Because I don't remember.
I don't. Oh no, I think they were like mad at each other for something.
No, they weren't mad. I think Christian didn't turn on him until later in the summer. But I think, obviously they were planting the seeds for that.
Yeah.
But I think Christian was like wishing him luck. I don't remember. DDP is once again being stalked by The Undertaker. DDP's in the parking lot walking to his car. It's like, okay. And DDP once again is freaking. So after they would end like the segment, whenever they cut back to DDP sitting in the crowd,
sitting there?
He's sitting there, and then when he saw himself on the fucking Jumbotron, he'd be like... Because he's like afraid the Undertaker's gonna like attack him. But this is every time, like every fucking segment.
Yeah,
it's like they didn't tell him, and they didn't give him an earpiece and say, "Yo, we're cutting back to you in 5, 4, 3." It was like literally.
I think a guy, like a fan, cued him like as he was on the camera or whatever.
Well, a fan was like, "Hey, it's DDP," and he's like. So someone filmed him getting into a Lincoln Town car out of his hotel room. And it's like, okay. And he's still like, who's doing that? Who's filming it? Where are you, Undertaker? Then they cut to WWF New York, where Billy Gunn, the former King of the Ring, is there. And he says it's a bunch of bullshit that he's not at the King of the Ring. And the King of the Ring winners are a bunch of bullshit today. And all. It's like, whatever. Wait till tomorrow night when I was there.
Oh.
Final King of the Ring. King of the Ring finals. It's Kurt Angle versus Edge. So the story here is that because of the double spear, Edge's ribs are really fucked up. And Edge doesn't know if he can compete properly. So Kurt Angle apologizes to Edge because apparently they had a feud on Monday or something. They yelled at each other. And Kurt Angle, in Kurt Angle fashion, says, you know what, Edge? You're hurt, and I don't think it would be fair to have this match, so I think you should just lay down for me, since you're hurt and I'm not, and you should just let me go on and become the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And Edge slaps the mic out of his fucking hands, and they go at it. They're beating the shit out of each other. At some point, Shane McMahon runs in, spears Kurt Angle, and then Edge gets back in the ring, and he gets the win. So Edge is now the 2001 King of the Ring. And for those that don't know, I went to my very first Raw the night after this pay-per-view. And I saw him given the cup. The Stanley Cup, everyone called it.
Yeah, this King of the Ring fucking trophy.
Yeah, which Billy Gunn came out and fucking challenged him. Which the crowd chanted Hulk Hogan during their match. And everyone was wondering... Everyone on TV was like, why the fuck are they chanting Hogan during Billy Gunn versus Edge? Yes. And by the way, I pulled up a report from that show, and that's actually in the notes. Wow. I actually caught that and put that in the notes.
That's funny.
Kurt Angle was funny bastard on the mic sometimes. Yeah, he was really good.
He was great. He could be serious. He could do comedy. He could do whatever, man. Like, Kurt Angle was really good.
Before the drugs really fucked him up. He was really good. So then we had Taz backstage interviewing Benoit. Asks if he's taking the WWF title to the WCW, if he wins the title. And he pretty much didn't say one way or another.
Like, that's a good question, Taz.
And they put this during the show, and at the opening of the show, they said there was a rumor someone was going to defect to WCW tomorrow night on Raw, which is bullshit. That didn't happen at all. Once again, the crowd cuts to our man DDP just sitting there, And once he realizes he's on the Jumbotron, he goes... He's fucking going crazy again. My notes literally say DDP in the crowd, scared. And then it cuts to Edge again, speaking to Coach about how the King of the Ring reeks of royalty. Christian told him that he would have ran out there and helped him if he would have known. And then Edge said, this begins the era of awesomeness. All right. Little did he know, in a couple of more years, he'd be the biggest star in wrestling. So there you go. Angle's backstage looking for Shane McMahon. Finds his room, but there's security all over there. And he starts screaming at the security guards, saying that he's going to beat the shit out of WCW, and he's going to make sure all the WCW's wrestlers' families go on welfare. I don't know why the fuck this was even on the show, but he's back there screaming and yelling like a maniac. Then we cut to DDP. No, I'm kidding. Then we cut to Jeff Hardy, the WWF Light Heavyweight Champion, versus X-Pac for the title. During this match, X-Pac does a hip toss to Jeff Hardy out of the ring, and JR screams hip lock. And me and Eli are like, what the fuck is a hip lock?
They also do like a kind of like a messed up spot. I think like X-Pac goes for the Bronco Buster, but then like Jeff goes to get up and try to like counter it, but they just like wind up colliding with each other.
And didn't the ref fuck something up in this match? Like he counted Xbox. He counted X-Pac for 3.
I think so. Yeah, it was like a botched 3 count where he did a 3 count, but it was a 2 count. It was weird.
Yeah. So then Jeff Hardy ends up winning, but the next night on Raw, which I was there and I remember this, X-Pac beat him for the title by keeping his feet on the ropes. So X-Pac would get the title in less than 24 hours. Mm. And I would have to hear his shitty Uncle Cracker music.
Oh yeah, the ending to the match, X-Pac had, I think, or was it Jeff who had his foot on the rope when the ref counted to 3? He did the full 3 count, and then his foot was on the rope. And
yeah, something like that. So they were trying to explain why. They were trying to explain, like, tomorrow, why this would be a rematch for tomorrow. They weren't doing that then, but tomorrow would make sense.
Yeah.
Hockey fan says Xbox versus Jeff Hardy. Yeah, why not?
Xbox.
Then we cut to DDP. No, I'm kidding. What the? Is Stone Cold there? Is DDP trying to break in your window?
Yeah, he's trying to break in my apartment.
Austin barges into William Regal's office to call Vince McMahon on a rotary phone. Which, that's where you put your finger in and rotate the fucking numbers.
Phone totally wasn't even plugged in or anything.
Yeah, he called Vince. Vince didn't know who the fuck he was. Austin says Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then he's like, oh, okay, I know who you are now. And he tells him he's got to get to the arena. He needs help for tonight. And then, and that there's a rumor that if these guys win the title, they're taking it to WCW. And then, apparently, I guess Vince didn't believe him on the phone. He hands the phone to Regal, and Regal has to tell him. And then he grabs the phone back, and he's like, you better hurry up. And as he talks to Vince one final time, Austin says, I need you. But he totally says it like your fucking girlfriend is ready for you. Like, I need you.
Like, please, I need you.
He totally said it like that.
Thought he was going to say, I love you, Vince. Or something.
He said that to him another time. We have Richard in the chat room. What's going on, buddy? Regal confirms all that information with it. Okay.
Yes.
So for real, we cut back to DDP, who's once again paranoid in the crowd. More video footage of him walking through the parking lot of the arena with a sign that said, Make Me Famous, which he claimed at the beginning of the show that he got from a fan. Which is bullshit, because he walked out of his town car with the sign. So he already got caught lying. So then again, he's screaming and yelling. He's like, Undertaker, you come out here. It shows the footage of him walking into the arena. And DDP then gets in the ring with a microphone, starts screaming and yelling for the Undertaker. Undertaker's music hits. Undertaker comes out. He's waiting for him to get in the ring. Then they get in the ring. They fight. Undertaker's beating them up. Then Sarah comes down with a fucking camera. While they're fighting in the ring, there's a guy in the fucking third row with a sign that says, "I saw Sarah naked." And they don't remove the sign from the guy. Because this guy had to sign up even during the main event. Like,
yeah.
It's fucked up.
Fucking that's stupid.
And then as they're fighting into the crowd, there's a guy with a sign that says Sarah is a slut. Like, yo, what the fuck?
Man. That's New York wrestling fans, man.
DDP gets his ass beat to the point where he leaves through the crowd. And he had cut this promo before The Undertaker came out about how he's going to debut in Madison Square Garden tomorrow and everything, and he wasn't there. Because I was there and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Then it shows Austin waiting in the parking lot for Vince McMahon. He asks this guy, this like security staffer, how long does it take to get from Greenwich to New Jersey? And the guy's like, I don't know. And then he goes, Greenwich, Connecticut. And the guy goes, an hour and a half. It's like, why the fuck did you say you didn't know if you knew? And Austin's a heel? He should have beat this guy up. If Austin was a good guy, he would have beat the guy up. That's like, he's not beating him up. Then we get Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon in a street fight. Yo. The glass.
That glass, dude.
So Kurt Angle goes to suplex Shane McMahon through a glass window. The window does not break. Shane bounces off of it twice. And then he fucking suplexes him. He goes right through the glass. Instantly, they're all bleeding. There's blood all over the place. There's glass all over the place. Then they go inside of where they broke the glass. And he tries to throw him over the glass again from the inside twice. And he bounces his head off both times.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where Kurt Angle has to pick Shane up and just throw his ass directly through the fucking glass. There's glass all over the fucking place. The referee, Kurt Angle's trying to get the referee to count. The referee's like, I ain't counting, there's glass all over the place.
Yeah.
So Kurt gets a cart, puts Shane on the cart, wheels him back to the ring, gets him in the ring. There's glass all over the ring. These guys are doing fucking moves to each other. Their heads are banging on the glass and everything. I didn't remember it to be that fucked up, but it was really fucked up.
It was really fucking like.
These guys are bleeding like crazy. It gets to the point where Kurt Angle does the angle slam, or back then it was called the Olympic slam. He put like a board on the third rope, and he Olympic slammed that motherfucker off the top rope. The crowd went fucking crazy. Everyone was loving this. Kurt Angle finally won. After all these matches tonight, he finally won.
Yep.
Well,
he got his win back.
He cheated to be Christian, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think because Shane wanted Kurt to think he was going to win King of the Ring, and then when Shane took it away from him, that made Kurt pissed off. But it was a good story. Kurt Angle wrestled 3 times tonight on the show. All the matches were stellar, and this was no different. They went all out and did that. We returned to Diamond Dallas. No, I'm kidding. Returned to Austin in the parking lot, still waiting for Vince. To the point where the Brooklyn Brawler comes out and says, it's time for your match, Steve. And me and Eli are like, there's 40 minutes left. Like, what the fuck? And yes, the WWF Championship match was next. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Benoit versus Jericho. One point in this match, Benoit locks on the... Jericho locks on the lions... Oh, not the lion. Jesus Christ. The Walls of Jericho. I was going to say the Lion Tamer. The Walls of Jericho, and Benoit slaps on the crossface at the same time. Austin taps, but Earl Hebner is like, yo, only one of you guys can make this guy tap out. So this match still continues.
Yeah.
So got to the point where the two Chris's were beating the fuck out of each other because Austin was pretty much eliminated. He was fucking healing. He was outside of the ring, Austin. Then Booker T fucking jumps out of the crowd and said, "Hey, Stone Cold," and fucking slams his ass through a fucking table. He's out. Stone Cold is Stone Cold at that point. He is done. Everyone's going crazy with Booker T. He jumps over the railing and fucking runs out of there. The two Chris's are beating the shit out of each other. They can't get the job done on each other. At some point, what was it? What was the big spot that they did? Where they both got knocked out, or one of them got knocked out? Something happened, and then Austin just got back in and just pinned Benoit, and it was over.
Yeah, and they even replay it. Usually, like, they'll replay the finish. They even show the replay.
Yeah, they didn't show the replay of that.
It happened, like, so fucking fast that, like, I didn't even see what the fuck happened.
Yeah, so that was it. Some notes here. Benoit did stun Stone Cold Steve Austin, what, once or twice?
Yeah.
Or I don't think Jericho stunned him. Whatever. But this show was really good. It was a really good, entertaining show. They don't make these shows like this anymore, unfortunately. It was like watching a good movie, and now they make bad movies. So, all of this makes sense tomorrow on Raw, which we're not recapping, but we will recap some of it now. I have notes here. WWF Raw's War, June 25th, 2001. I was there. Who did I go with? I went with Mario, right?
Mario, right? Yeah. So you told me.
Yeah. It was with Mario. Raw comes on the air. It starts with Vince McMahon starts his way to the ring. And gets on the mic and brags about the rumor that Benoit and Jericho defecting WCW should they have won the title. Never happened because Stone Cold is still the champion after defeating both men. Vince mentions how Austin won in spite of Booker T's interference. Starts to ponder what the T stands for in Booker T. Vince McMahon says it stands for terrible, trash, and maybe troglodyte.
Using these 1800s words.
Then Vince says the T might stand for temporarily employed. What the fuck? Vincent goes on to say how Madison Square Garden is the hollow ground because WCW guys never step foot in it and never will. Vince McMahon calls Madison Square Garden the house that the WWF helped build. Blah, 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 blah. That's why they don't go there anymore, even though tickets were announced today. Now a video where ECW television champ... What?
ECW television champ. Damn.
Now we get an opening video after Vince did his opening spiel. Like, this is an ECW television show. Okay. They welcome us to Raw. Test versus Rhino for the hardcore title, but then Mike Awesome runs in and wins the title. Which they said Madison Square Garden now has been soiled. The hollow ground has been soiled. And next is the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship, Jeff Hardy versus X-Pac. X-Pac gets his foot on the ropes, and there you go. He beats Jeff Hardy for the Light Heavyweight Championship. We got backstage, Trish Stratus and Big Show. That's where Big Show had the fucking shirt pointing to his dick.
I remember that shirt, too.
Steven Richards is in the ring, dressed in black, and says New York is a cesspool. Richards doesn't get to say much as Taz makes his way out. I guess we have a match. Stevie Richards versus Taz. I don't even remember this. And I was there for it. I remember the Garden Classic clip with Pat Patterson versus Sergeant Slaughter. I remember that. They showed that. There's a bunch of shit that happened here. WWF Tag Team titles, the Dudley Boys versus Undertaker and Kane with Sarah. Then you had the WWF European title. Matt Hardy with Lita. I was going to say Matt Lita. Matt Hardy with Lita versus Big Show and Trish Stratus. Then Christian, the one Billy Gunn. So let me read some of this here. And somebody rated all these matches as duds. Edge and chokes him on the middle rope. The crowd shows their interest by chanting Hogan at a Hulk Hogan impersonator. Yes, exactly what I said. Then Tajiri versus Jericho with William Regal. And then Vince comes out. I'm skipping through a lot of stuff here, but Vince comes out and Booker T comes out and scissor kicks Vince McMahon. All the people in the all the people in the locker room run out and chase him out. Now something when Raw went off the air, and you can tell because when the Jumbotron goes black, I know there's the Titantron, which stands for Titan Sports, which try telling people that online because they're making AEW Titantrons. It's called Titantron because it's Titan Sports that WWE is owned by. WWE's company is Titan Sports. That's why it's called Titantron. So when you make AEW Titantrons online, you're a fucking idiot. Because they're Controns. Okay?
Titantron.
So anyway, I see that. You type in AEW Titantron. Ooh. Kenny Omega's AEW Titantron. It's not a Titantron. Titan Sports doesn't own AEW. Sorry. Anyway, so when Raw went off the air, on the Titantron and the Jumbotron in the Garden, it goes black. That means they're off the air. Big Show grabbed the microphone and screamed, WCW is dead! And then that's it. Everyone left.
Is there a dark match on Raw?
Yeah, we saw Shelton Benjamin versus some guy. And we saw Nunzio and I think Roadkill and all those guys in the tag team match.
Nice.
Heyman had his guys on there, that's for sure. Now, I don't know if this was Raw the next year when we went, but there was a guy who looked like Bret Hart and Rhino merged.
What the hell?
Yeah, he was very weird looking. We never saw that guy ever again, but I remember that guy was in a dark match. But all in all, and by the way, at this Raw, Edge was given the Stanley Cup as the King of the Ring. And that's when Billy Gunn came out and prompted the fucking match. Anyway, that was a great show to go to live. Austin, I wanted to see Stone Cold. Unfortunately, him and Kurt Angle were filming segments at the restaurant. The whole story here is that Austin and Vince couldn't, catch each other. Because Kurt Angle and Stone Cold called Booker T out to go to the restaurant, meet them there. Booker T came out on Raw and beat the fuck out of Vince.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they were all missing each other, and then all this shit was happening. So the shit was on. So I remember Mario was like, hey, we should go to SmackDown tomorrow. I was like, we don't go to SmackDown. It's not even live. That was the best show in the fucking world. Those motherfuckers beat the fuck out of the WCW guys. So if you didn't watch SmackDown was better than Raw because a bunch of WCW guys invaded and the whole fucking WWF locker room ran out and beat the shit out of these guys. Literally, you had 20 guys beating up fucking 3 guys. It was the greatest fucking show in the world. It was on, brother. It was on.
Yeah.
So, that's our WWF King of the Ring 2000 recap episode. King of the Ring 2001 recap episode from 20 years ago tonight. So there you go. You have any thoughts on this show?
It was a great show, top to bottom, man. I thought it was leagues beyond Backlash, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Judgment Day, even.
The shows were only getting better and better.
Yeah, you had great work. I mean, granted, Kurt Angle was in 75% of the matches. I think
and DDP was all over the show.
DDP, he's looking around like a maniac. It was just, yeah, man. It was a hell of a show, man. And I don't even know what to say, man. Y'all, you guys need to go watch it. If you guys haven't seen it or you've never seen it, it's definitely a show that's worth watching. You're gonna get your bang for your buck type thing. Especially even back then, Definitely check it out.
So next month on July 22nd, join us here. We're gonna recap WWF Invasion from 2001. It's the WWF versus WCW versus ECW. Something we never thought we would ever see, but we did, and thankfully we saw it in a time where it was still Attitude.
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest show in the world, but it was really good. If you were watching all three brands within that 2-year time period, you got your payoff. You didn't get the payoff, but you got a payoff. So we're going to have the panel here. We're going to have Frank on the show. We're going to have Anthony on the show. We're going to have Eli on the show. We're going to have me on the show. And we're going to do this again like the WrestleMania panel. And then in August, we're going to do a panel once again for SummerSlam. I have to give the guys the date so they make sure. And we're going to check out SummerSlam 2001. And then after that, it's going to be me and Eli again, pretty much recapping until the end of the year. So that's it. I want to thank you all for watching. And definitely check these shows out.
AOX is over.
They still hold up these shows. So, after all these years. So, that's it. Everyone take care. Stay safe out there. And we'll catch you all next time.
Later.